The blur. Can I hear you now? Hello?
Me?
I got you now. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I just want to get rid of my
Look at you looking tan.
oh my God. So I like a real idiot did we were at the montage and like Lauren and I never like really spend like the whole day like doing nothing. And we decided that's what we were gonna do.
Those,
And
those are the
I didn't
best days.
I didn't wear sunscreen and like my scalp got burnt. Like that's how burnt I got.
Oh, it is the worst feeling. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, that's one of the new ones you're rocking.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
too
Uh,
bad. Your
yeah.
dad's got him.
I know. He's so fired up about it. Yeah. I talked to him last night. I guess he bought a bucket hat too or something for himself.
I know. I like I get the like notification and I wrote like I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to him and I go, "Really?" Question mark.
Yeah.
Like you're it's on the house, bro. Come on. You're part of the family.
Yeah. And I have like six of them at home. I'm like, you can take one of those. Um, But no, nice. All right, you cool if we just fire this up and then we can chat afterwards if we have time.
Yeah, fire it up.
Boom. All righty, folks. I am here with probably the most distinguished guest we've had so far on this podcast, to put it lightly. Um, why don't you first tell us kind of name, occupation, birthplace, all the introductory stuff to our viewers here.
First of all, thank you for having me, Mr. Gritty Fish. Long overdue. Sam Grossman. Occupation, complicated. I would say it's complicated. Real estate, developer, founder and president of Fairchild Acquisitions, and yada, yada, yada. Founder of FA Merch, which brought me to you.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's some other stuff, but that's enough for now. And my birthday, it's like, isn't that the question you're not supposed to ask? Like,
I said birthplace, but
oh,
yeah.
birthplace.
If you want
Uh,
birthday too, we can. Yeah.
I'm almost 45 and proud of it. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised.
Yeah. We've got a friend of the program, Caleb Durbin, who's on the Brewers right now, so that's been exciting. I think you're the first. I've really just designated these interviews for golf coaches and golf players, but I think you're the first, and and maybe you can classify yourself as a life coach or something along those lines. But what do you think your place is or your title is maybe in the golf world, and for people like me?
Um, well, first and foremost, I'm a fan.
Mm,
Um, I'm a lover of the game. Um, but as far as like where I put myself on the business side of golf, um, I kind of I look at myself as an enabler in a good way,
yeah,
um, because I enable people like you to focus on your dream, right? And and that's sort of like I guess from the business side, that's where I would put myself. But first and foremost, like, and even with you, I'm just a fan. Like I'm president of the Gritty Fish fan club if I'm allowed to be.
sure, you're up there, no doubt. Oh my gosh. Um, and that's cool. And obviously, you know how grateful I am for you and your support. I guess let's take it back then. You obviously have a love and affection for the game of golf itself. Do you remember kind of your first time on a golf course and where you got that bug?
Yeah, I mean, I remember my dad put a club in my hand when I was 7. at Brynwood Country Club in Glendale, Wisconsin. Um, and I golf in the beginning, was more just a way to hang out with my dad. My dad worked a lot. Um, and and sports was something that he always was at. When I was younger, it was soccer, baseball, golf, tennis, a little bit of basketball.
Yeah.
Um, but golf was different when I was with my dad because it was the one thing that like he could teach me from a sports perspective. Um, I never took a lesson. Still to this day, I've never taken a lesson. My dad taught me everything. And so originally I was hooked because that was like my time with my dad. And it was uninterrupted. And, as I got older, um, it was my dad and. So it was sort of like the way that I was able to sort of hang out with older people,
Yeah.
but yet be on like the same level. Um, and that's like, I think that's what really, at a young age, that's what hooked me to golf. Like, whether it was time with my dad, which then grew to time with my nanny, and my poppy, and their friends, and it's how I met. My son is named after um, a guy that I played golf with, one of my poppy's friends. It was actually the first like older man that wasn't a family member that I had a relationship with, and all of my relationships really stemmed. Um, Especially when I was young, stemmed from, being out on the golf course and I was good. So they were, like, ooh, let's have him out there. And I was like, you know, 4 hours where I get to like just listen to successful businessmen or people that have figured out what life is. And I get to ask them anything I want because they're going to answer because when they ask me about golf, they're going to want me to answer. Um, so, I don't so-called remember like the exact
Yeah.
first moment. I do remember the first moment um where I have the most like clearest memory that really changed the way not only I was in life but how what golf meant. It was a true lesson. I was like, and you can probably relate to this. I was like 12 years old and my dad was trying to teach me course management, right? So like you remember this, like you get to the par five and you're like 220 and it's over water. And the smart play is to lay up and put a wedge on and take double bogey out of play. But we're young and we're ready to go and we didn't come here to lay up. And so your dad would finally, he'd like put a 6 iron in your hand,
Yeah.
right? And I just would pure it and it would go in the water, right? Like the Polish layup. And I looked at him, see, dad. I remember it was like it started on the fifth hole, right? So it was par five. Then on the 13th hole, it was like a tight par four, and he's like, "You don't need driver," and I'm like, "But I want to hit driver. If I hit driver, I can, I have a wedge in my hand. I'll make birdie that way." He's like, "You don't need driver off the tee." So I hit a 4 iron, right? And it wasn't his fault, but I blocked it right in the water. And I turned around and I first slammed my 4 iron down into the ground, and then I actually threw my club.
Mm.
And I look up to yell at my dad, and he has just no expression on his face at all, and he just points to the clubhouse. We're at the furthest point on the golf course from the clubhouse. He did not say a word. he just pointed at the clubhouse, and I knew, like,
Yeah.
I was walking in, and I was taking my 4 iron with me. Um, that was the last time I ever showed true anger
Mm,
on the golf course. Um, and I walk in, and I get there, and obviously between the tee and when I got to the clubhouse, um, I was no longer mad at my dad. I was able to really understand I mean, I was 12 years old. This was kind of a big life lesson, but I was mature beyond my years. But it was that, not only is that not how you act on the golf course, right? But that's not how you act in life. And and that was like the real moment, where it was like for the first time ever, I was able to make the connection.
mm.
Um, and that moment, like, I will to this day, I mean, I've told that story 1,000 times. Um, that was a turning point in my life. That's really when I understood what golf really was.
Well, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing. Are you by any chance watching Stick on Apple TV, or have you watched it?
I have,
Well,
there's not
I'm not,
a, go ahead.
I'm not sure if I've finished it yet, so no spoilers. But you talking about, course management, I mean, it totally just reminds me exactly of those scenes, it's powerful.
Yeah, I mean, listen, no, I'm not caught up. I think I might be caught up. I think I caught up in California, but um, I was so excited for Stick to come out, and I think that I ruined it for myself. Expectations. Um, just it's good. Don't get me wrong. I wanted it to be so much better.
Yeah. Making a golf show is hard. I can see where that's a struggle. So where did this love of kind of, the game of golf from your dad turn into, spreading that love and support maybe to people on the professional golf side? And I know we've talked about it. You kind of thought there was, a missing link in this market of, guys grinding on the road, not having the support they need. Kind of where did that light bulb go off, and how did, you know, your your initiative, I guess, start in it?
Yeah, I mean, it sort of happened by accident.
As most good things do, right?
There's a Yiddish word, beshert, um, means meant to be. It's a word that is ingrained in my family. I think it was the name of my dad's boats, like beshert 1, 2, 3. I think it ended up 8 was the last one or whatever. So yeah, I truly, there are no coincidences in life. Everything is meant to be. I know you and your family are very faith-based and believe that, someone up there has a plan for you, and your job is to like just stay on the path, do the right thing, and that path will happen, right? So yes, so by accident, right? Like I would sign and I loved swag for my company. And on an annual basis, I would sign, a deal year by year, with a company, a clothing company, and guarantee them so much, X amount of clothes, and I would get, preferential pricing. And long story short, the last one I ended up, sort of signing, like, sort of came with a player. And like I remember the call, like it was like, would you be interested in sponsoring Max McGreevy? And I was like, um, sure. I always loved to sponsor a player. I knew nothing about the golf business. Like, as much as I loved golf, and like every Sunday, every Saturday, even Thursdays and Fridays, like I was watching, but that's a different golf, right? The business side of golf and the what 99% of the world knows as golf is completely different. And so through Max, my eyes were open to um, both the good and the bad of the business side of golf. And yes, what I quickly realized, and maybe I was just being naive, but like golfers don't make money unless they make the cut. And so you show up to an event Tuesday, and Wednesday I would always be there Wednesday. Like that was my day that I would make it out to the tournament usually. Um, because you saw sort of the less robotic side of the professional golfer. And I was able to see the charisma and the character and um, whoever Max was playing his practice rounds with. But I also was seeing like the preparation that went into, yes, they were having fun, but like they also were like looking at the course, like from green back or from tee forward. Like it was just, and the caddies are like making notes and like they're throwing down fake holes and you're putting to different places. And like, so I realized like, sure, you show up Monday or Tuesday, you play in a pro-am, you give up your time, you try to fit in the preparation of the course, and then oh yeah, by the way, Tuesday you have a tea time, and Friday, and at the end of the day, Friday, like you either make the cut or you don't. If you don't make the cut, like here you have spent time, money, travel, hotels, you're paying your caddy. Depending on which level you're at, either you're paying him a flat fee or it's a percentage, but let's be honest, Corn Ferry down, most of it is a flat fee. And so like before you even tee it up on Thursday, you're like down 3 grand or five or more.
Yeah.
And so it was at that point where I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why is that the way it is? And um obviously I learned a lot of other things, but it was at that moment that I was said, I got to figure out a way for these guys to make money, to make revenue off the golf course so that they're not negative when they tee it up on Thursday. And, money shouldn't be uh, a obstacle. It shouldn't, you carry enough, like you see the stress, like I followed Max on the corn. I've watched you on the corn. I've watched Patrick on the corn. Um, Greg, like you see it. I mean, I was at Springfield with you.
Totally.
Um, let's say the second round at NV5 was a lot more fun for me to watch. But seeing you before you teed off in Springfield, again, like that was just another view. Your anxiety and um, you had never said to me, "I'm nervous." I just hadn't heard those words out of your mouth, and yet still you piped your drive down the first hole. Enough about that moment, but. I so when I said, what are you? I'm an enabler. Like that's the way I wanted Fairchild. Uh, the initiative sort of just merged into FA merch,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, each golfer can have their own line. Yours was Gritty Fish, by far the best name we have ever had on a
That's too
clothing.
good.
But when I started FA merch, it was literally like, okay, we can sell enough clothes to pay the sponsorship dollars to a team of players and allow them to take another, just one less thing to the tee with them on the first hole. And enable them, right, to chase their dream and focus on their job, which is being the best golfer that they can be.
No, it's powerful and very well said. It's pretty awesome what you've done and kind of the community of guys. I'm actually playing a pro am this afternoon in about 2 hours, so I'm literally doing exactly what you were saying. And being with Pat, another FA merch guy, last week and this week's upcoming has been super fun just to talk with. But I guess away from the business now, and we're both wearing FA merch stuff. Shout out. I'm not sure which design this is, but pretty awesome. They're stylish clothes. Like, it's funny. Charlie Nikitas, who you love, obviously, came up and was like, "Do you have any like plain white clothes, from FA merch?" And I'm like, "No, like." they pop a little bit. Where do you kind of get that? Is that your choice, and where does that inspiration come from? I've always wanted to ask that.
So, um, inspiration is a funny thing. Like it comes to you at the most inopportune times. Like inspiration's not planned. Like that's the beauty of inspiration, of creation. You know, for most of my life, I was in real estate, and what I love most about real estate is that I was able to, one man's trash is another man's, you know, whatever they say, gold, riches. I was able to look at a beaten down, worn down apartment and visualize what it could be. Um, Not to be corny, but that's also like what FA merch is to me. Like that is what golf is to me. Like I'm an all or nothing guy, so like as much as like, like there's a scene from a movie, I don't remember which movie, but it's like I'm an army guy. I like my peas and my peas and my carrots and my carrots. It's like I'm different. Yes, I'm very anal, organized, detail oriented, but like everything's like started like begins and ends with golf for me because golf was so much more than a sport, a game. Like golf is life. Like it really is life. And like when I talk about like that moment that like changed my life, like it was that I realized that it wasn't about me throwing my club. It was about me disrespecting the game of golf because it's a gentleman's game, right? But why is it a gentleman's game? It's because the rules of golf and the etiquette of golf are one and the same. Like it's actually a rule that you need to call a penalty on yourself. It's a rule that you need to help your competitor like with a penalty, right? Like the etiquette of golf is you're supposed to replace your own divot. Like when was the last time you saw a running back in an NFL game stop and be like, "Ooh, I just ruined the grass. Like I need to fix it." Right? Like you don't see it, right? Because and like it's like there's so many great quotes about this and like I could probably talk for 2 hours just on the gentleman's game and like every one of Bobby Jones' great quotes because like I know you're a writer, like he has probably the greatest quotes. Lee Trevino, like, what do you do in a thunderstorm? You hold up a one iron because even God can't hit a one iron. Like those are the things, but like it truly for me, it just if you learn from a mistake you made, it's a lesson. And that to me is what golf is and what golf teaches you. And it's like if you're playing and you go for a par five and it's your 18th hole and you make double bogey, I guarantee you the next round on that hole, you're going to learn from that mistake. And maybe you could have a better chance making birdie by laying up and making the putt for and making the cut, right? It's the same thing in life, right? Like sometimes you need to lay up in life. Sometimes you need to go for it in life. And and so I needed to find a way because golf has given me so much. I needed to find a way to give back. At a very early age, I learned about Evan Scholars and Western golf and caddies. And so the inspiration is really like you guys. Like it truly is. Like I know you're grateful because you tell me all the time. I know Patrick's grateful because he tells me all the time, and your parents do. And but like to me, you're the inspiration, right? You're chasing your dream, and all I'm doing is sitting back and getting really just being invited to the ride. And so inspiration comes in all that. I was watching you in Springfield, and I was inspired actually um, to to make a design that will be coming out probably in winter. By the way, it had nothing to do with you or anything you were doing. It had to do with something I saw in the backyard of a house along the eighth hole, I believe it was, which, by the way, that is an awful golf hole. Um,
Awful. Yeah.
right? Isn't that the tight little par four that like there's nowhere to lay up
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah.
Right. So that was where the next inspiration comes from. So that was a really long-winded answer to what was probably a simple question.
Well, we love long-winded on here, and yeah, I think it sums up FA merch. Like there's a great deal of meaning behind it. People might just see some clothes, but like your answer, I mean, it's just yeah, there's layers to it, which is awesome. I wanted to ask you this question. I didn't send this to you before, but you've obviously, like you said, you've had behind the scenes access to, tour events, Corn Ferry tour events and whatnot. Is there a moment, that the average golf fan would be like, dang, like that's cool, man. Like that you got to experience that. Maybe, a time with Asher or something, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's probably a
I,
few of them, but yeah.
I mean, my moments with Asher, my son, I mean, I could have a 2 hour episode just on that. I would say one of the coolest moments, it had nothing to do with and then I'll talk about one of the access, but um the coolest moment so far, and Asher's 12, right? So we haven't even started like the golf trips, right? We're focused right now on SEC football games, but which we just did pick. We're going to Tennessee for Tennessee, Georgia.
Oh boy.
It's a bucket, Rocky. That I mean, that is a bucket list and course field for me to go to. But one of the coolest moments actually was recently, this past March, when I got to have my nephew Alex and you and Asher playing one of my favorite golf courses in the world. And I think we can both agree that is up there. Pine Tree Country Club, man, is such an awesome course. But watching you watch him and the exact moment, I believe, was on the third hole, you were teaching him how to hit a bunker shot. And you weren't like showing him, you were talking him through it. And and seeing his eyes and how attentive he was to every word that you were saying, like had so many emotions for me, jealousy, because like I wish he had that attention to me when I spoke. But like just seeing, to me, that was like one of those like aha moments, like I made it. Um, all of my sort of everything I wanted in that moment was coming to fruition. Whether it was, business or FA merch or, the initiative and having that moment and having my nephew there and you and listening to my son being mature enough to sort of hang with you guys, but also understand how cool it was. And like the leading up to it, like, Dad, we need to go practice because I'm playing with Danny and Alex. Like, just that whole moment was so cool. And I know it was cool for you too, but like, I mean, how many dads are like, no, no, I don't need to play. Like I'm gonna sit back and watch. Although I think I played 4 holes and I think I parred all 4 of them, but
Lit it up. Yeah.
yeah, I was but you like, just that was a cool moment. I would say like the other thing that like um I don't look at it as like access. Like I've always like there's two types of people in the golf business, and you and I have talked about this. There's the type that like wants a piece of you,
Yeah.
right? like I've made it clear from like the first day. Like I don't want your time. I don't want a piece of you. I like I just I want to take a boulder away from you, right? Like I want to build a bridge so you can walk over water. But some things do come with the territory, and it used to be a lot easier than it is now from an access standpoint. COVID and Scotty getting arrested kind of changed a lot of that. But my favorite thing to do as just a lover of the game, like like I sort of like it's like really crazy. Like I look like the protector of the realm, the protector of the North. I don't know if you're fan of Game of Thrones, but like I actually like I look at myself as like a keeper and protector of the game, right? Like it's my job to like keep the younger generations focused on like bettering the game. But like then I get a guy like you that like I don't need to tell you how to like you give back. Like I saw like a video, like an Instagram of like PJ Americas. It wasn't even no one was tagged in it, but I saw like Patrick like signing an autograph of like a kid, and I was like, yeah. I'm like, that's an FA fam kid. Like he knows. But like I don't, like I don't. Anyways, I'm like literally that is not even what your question was. I like totally am off tangent, but like
I love
the
to.
my favorite thing is I'll two quick stories. Um I went to watch the Rocket Mortgage. It was my sort of my last year with Max McGreevy. And after the round, I went to he went after he ate, he went to the driving range. And he uh I'm gonna forget who the player was now, but they were buddies. Like you when you walk out on the driving range, like you guys like all know each other. It's like this like, you know, uh it's like the club of all clubs. And Lee Hodges.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So here's this, you know, like guy, me, whatever, like walking and Max and I are just literally talking about like his wife and his life and like how, we're not even talking about golf. And we're walking out and like he starts, just banging balls and I'm standing like behind him and I'm talking to his caddy um a ball like comes underneath his legs, right? And he like turns around and he's like, oh, he's like, oh, really? He's like, you want to do this? And like all of a sudden, like this sort of closest to the pin competition, like talking smack and like, then two other Oklahoma guys come up and like there's the four of them. And I'm getting to watch what every golfer really every golf fan wants to see. And that is that you guys really are human,
Just casualness. Yeah, exactly.
right? Like it's the normalcy side of a professional golfer. And that, like that moment, that true charisma and character and personality, like I got to see that. Not everyone gets to see that. And that's to me, like that, it's not about like inside the ropes. It's about you realizing that like you're real people too. And yes, you're on a TV. And yes, the stars, like, yes, like, the whole you have to do this or everyone is always asking for something. And very rarely do you get a moment to yourself,
Right.
And so I get to see that. I got to see it. I get to see it all the time. My favorite thing to do is sit on the range. Whether I'm listening to the conversation or more often listening to the sound that all of you guys make over and over and over again. when you're just puring balls, like, um, and you're making your divot lines. Um, as much as I'm like, oh, like, God, what did the course do to you? Because you guys are just ripping it up, but you're even doing that in a respectful way. It's just like, of course you are. Like that's your duty is to also take care of the golf course, which you guys do. You're very specific about your divots and how you do it. And anyways,
Um,
yeah,
this
another long-winded answer, but
great. Well, this Zoom's going to kick us off in 4 minutes, so I want to quickly
okay.
rapid fire questions here. Top three golf courses you've ever played.
Pine Tree, Pelican Hill, just got back from it. It's definitely up there. Kiawah Island, Ocean Course.
Of course, nice. Go to restaurant on the road.
Carbone in Miami. Besides that, like Waffle House because of Tin Cup.
Yep, nice. Okay, we'll go. Favorite golf movie.
Ah, the greatest game ever played.
Great, Francis We Met. Great call there. If you could go on one last vacation, what would it be?
If I could, it would be taking my son to the Masters. Um, but I need to do the Ireland Scotland trip with my family.
Cool. And then one last one. Is there a favorite shot you have in golf?
A favorite shot?
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger Woods shot out of the bunker at the Canadian Open. Tiger Woods chip at Memorial, Tiger Woods chip at 16 at Augusta. Um,
Anything in the
Jack's putt. I mean, Masters highlights, period, period, period.
they are. You can go down a YouTube rabbit hole pretty easily.
I'm going through it right now, actually. I'm doing the Tiger's greatest moments.
Yeah. There you go. Well, Sam, thank you, dude. This was awesome. I think everyone's going to get a ton out of this, just seeing your perspective on the game of golf and professional golf, which is definitely going through it a little bit at the moment. So, thank you so much for your time. You obviously are very generous. I'm glad people get to see that. So, yeah,
You're the man, Gritty. Thank you for taking the time. Good luck this week.
thank you. Appreciate
And thanks, buddy.
you. Be in touch. Thanks.